What's this? The WDP to spy on your bank account. New bill being passed. What's happening here?
What if I was to tell you in a matter of days, DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, are going to be monitoring all of your bank accounts, every single
What?
transaction, all of your savings, how
What is that then?
you spend your money, where you spend your
How you spend your money? Where you spend your money? Huh?
money, and most importantly, in real time with no warning. I bet most of you did not know about this, and you probably don't know what to do when it comes in because it's coming in. If it's your first time being here on my YouTube channel, hello, welcome. It is the Justice
Hello there.
Journals. I'm a successful disability advocate and former employee work coach and trainer of the Department of Work and Pensions.
Okay.
I used to work there before I had to, unfortunately, sue them single-handedly for unlawful harassment and disability discrimination. So I'm not really
Oh, wow.
worried about people coming into my comments with the term scaremongering because
Yeah.
unlike your good friends, my content is based on fact, not fiction.
Okay. Whoa, what was that explosion noise, sister? Scared the hell out of me.
Be showing you some of those receipts like I always do as we go along. Now, I have seen on various social media channels lots of you worrying about DWP asking you for your bank statements. Can they
Yeah,
ask you
they do. They'll do that. Yep.
for your bank statements? What happens if you say no? And most importantly, why are they asking you for your bank
Yeah.
statements?
To see your
Some of you
patterns.
have been asking me this, so let's break it all down in this video.
Okay.
And of course, don't forget to follow and subscribe so you get the best. And you might want to become a member of this Justice Journals, our website, where we've got all sorts of very useful information, tools and resources that could probably help you all out a little bit. If
Okay.
you are a universal
Seems like a
credit
good channel.
claimant, if you're on PIP, if you're on LCWRA, or if you're one of those people migrating potentially and you're thinking about self-employment, including access to work. Now,
Access to work.
DWP state by their own figures that over £1 billion every single year is overpaid to people in
1 billion overpayment. What?
universal credit because people don't correctly report their savings.
Savings?
So they're now
Huh?
going to be giving you a choice. You either connect your bank account using a term called open banking. Don't worry, I'm going to be going into that.
Okay.
Or you hand over your statements in person. Either way, they are going to be verifying every single thing.
They recently asked me to do last 4 months or something bank statements, and that's fine. It's not like things are being hidden. What's the situation though? It's just like why? Why would they want that?
About you, your money at the start of your claim and at any point during your claim, in particular if you make a change of circumstances.
Yeah.
This is not just for simple people that might not be working, it is also for self-employed people, ESA people, every single person that is claiming from the Department of Work and Pensions. Nobody is going to not come under the scathing eye of their new bill.
Yeah.
Which is called the Public Authorities Fraud, Error and Recovery Bill.
Crazy.
And
So it seems like, again, they're following in America's footsteps. It seems like, okay, so is this Doge? Is this the UK version of Doge? Is this where they're going to be like, okay, this is where we're going to sort out the fraud, error and recovery systems where we've been leaking $1 billion, £1 billion no less, a year in overpayments. Blah, 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 blah. For that, we will need your bank and all your spending habits. Why did you withdraw that £20? What's going on?
quite interestingly, the Department of Work and Pensions have been putting this through very, very, very quietly. In fact, we're almost at the final stage, and
the
not
final
many
boss
of
is
you
close.
know about it. Because
How?
you're not following the right people, guys. What can I say?
It's true, you know, see, this sort of information I did not know, I was not aware of. Was not aware of this.
Let's get into
Maybe I'm ill-informed.
the nitty-gritty of this right now. What is open banking? I'm just going to try and keep this really simple.
Cool.
Open banking is apparently, because it is regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, it's a secure way for you to give permission to a third party like the DWP, a budgeting app, or a lender to access your bank account information. And this will be your account balance, your income, and your spending transactions. Now, of course, you do have to give your permission, but I can tell you, if you don't give your permission, they will ask for your bank statements. And if you don't give your bank statements and you don't agree to open banking, they are quite likely just to suspend payments, any pending payments, until you provide.
Wow, they just block you off then.
What they will call that as relevant information to process your claim.
Okay.
Now, under the Universal Credit Act, you do have to agree when you sign up for it to all sorts of things.
Yep.
Most of that can be found in the Universal Credit Act of 2013, but the part that we're interested in is actually in the Welfare Act.
Okay.
And
the Welfare
if we
Act.
go to the Welfare Reform Act of 2012, I believe it's section 36. Here we go. And this comes under section 37, which I might add has just been updated. And it all comes around giving evidence for work-related activity and limited capability for work. So it doesn't necessarily depend on whether or not you are able to work or work or not. Here they can ask you for any type of evidence, and it's not the only place in that act. Now, if you're self-employed and you're on universal credit, you would have been subjected to some of these things perhaps already. Currently, they're just asking people to inform them about income and expenses.
Yeah.
And that is said to extend to receipts, invoices, and bank statements. And all of that is going to be checked by a specialist team at DWP.
All right.
Now, I don't know about you, but what I think about this at this point is that this isn't just about fraud. It's really about surveillance disguised as
no, obviously, this is how these sort of governments sort of operate. They operate in that sort of way. It's like surveillance under the guise of something noble. You see, this is the way that they operate, and it sort of makes you think: is this nefarious?
It's coming for those who are trying to do the right thing.
15-minute cities are coming, boys. I think we're really living in them.
Because if people are getting off their backside to start a business and try and be part of the 5%, shall we say, that are trying to make a difference, I just think it's going to be giving people more stress, more worry, more work, and most people then will just they'll just give up and they'll go, well.
That's what it's sort of making me think. It's like they're making everything so difficult and so hard to obtain with this license, with this bill, with this. It's like so much barriers that you're actually breaking the person down. You're breaking them down, and you're making them think, I don't even want to be bothered to do this, and then they become reliant on the state. Nefarious, right?
Not going to do that then. Now, I've been in this situation where people have had delivered to them an £85,000 invoice that they've had to pay back to.
They just hit you with a bill. Nah.
Universal Credit.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Of an overpayment.
That's ridiculous.
And, it can get really serious if you do not have really good records and really good evidence of what you're doing. So not only would I rely perhaps on things like that, but I would keep your own records. And here is a couple of the spreadsheets and different things that I created inside a product which is called the Online Business Bundle. And not only does it explain things like the minimum income floor, and a whole load of other things if you are thinking about starting a business on a low income or on benefits, about what you're doing, how you're doing those records, and also having the right evidence to challenge things in a really comprehensive and coherent manner if that comes about. Now, for those of you that don't know, I used to have to analyse a lot of national universal credit claims, shall we say, and I'm a specialist of self-employment. So that whole bundle has been written to help people avoid any potential situations when they're starting their own business.
That's dope.
Now, carers are also not being left out in this massive anti-fraud swoop by the Department of Work and Pensions, or mass surveillance swoop, however you want to look at it. And the way they're going to be doing that is actually by boosting the teams that check verified earnings and pensions, and with general matching services, especially after the recent lashback over overpayments for carers' allowances. So in DWP's mind, more resources equals more checks, more people flagged.
That's what they're doing.
Someone says,
busy doing all of that, aren't they?
Yeah,
they'll boost up. They'll pay billions for that.
This is going to take absolutely
so they love
ages
to do
come in.
Stuff like that.
It's going to be coming in the next few weeks. Let me show you. This bill actually started being passed in 2024 is when it started, and we are currently at this stage here. If I just scroll down, you'll be able to see, which of course has been duly managed by the wonderful Liz Kendall. I know she's got her own little fan club there. So we're actually already at the reporting stages of this. So if you don't know how bills work in the House of Commons, I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to explain that, because if this goes through, and it looks very likely to go through because we're already at the reporting stage, it means it will come into effect potentially by the end of April 2025. So when a bill is introduced into House of Commons, it has to go through the first reading, which we can see here. The first reading is really an administrative formality. That's when it's formally introduced into the House of Commons. The title is read out. At this stage, there is no debate. Then it goes to the second reading, which we've obviously gone past. That is when the first proper debate is held. MPs can debate the general principles of the bill, what's it about, if it's needed, and if it's fair and justified. And then after that debate, there is a vote. And if the vote has been successful, it goes to detailed examination, which is clearly what's happened. And that is obviously
what's going on now.
Stage. At the committee stage, every single line of the proposed act is scrutinised line by line with a public bill committee, and they examine the bill clause by clause, every little nook and cranny. And here is where, if they think amendments need to be made, they will propose them with specific changes which can tighten, clarify, or challenge parts of the law that the act is about. And then after that, which is the stage we're currently at, we are at the report stage. So where further scrutiny after committee changes happen. So MPs debate the bill again, focusing on amendments made during the committee stage. And if any new changes can be added. Now,
it's a procedure, isn't it?
Once that's happened, on the third reading, that is the third and final reading of the actual debate of the Act in the House of Commons. Okay? And then at this point, there is a vote. And if it is approved, so if the vote gets a majority, then the bill moves on to the House of Lords to repeat the same stages. So once a bill goes through all the stages in the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and once all disagreements are resolved, it receives royal assent and it becomes law. So for those of you that have been saying they're asking
That's
for
how
my
it
bank
says done. That's how it's done.
statements, it's currently not law. But if you look at the other things that I have pointed out,
Yeah, they just sanction you.
they can actually refer to those as evidence.
Yeah.
And if you're on those benefits, request that information from you.
Yeah.
Let me know, guys, what you think about this.
It's a bit
Are
weird,
you
isn't
in
it?
agreement or not? And let's not forget, it's not just about people's earnings. It's about self-employment income. It's about
Yeah.
savings. It's about where
Yeah, it seems like it's about surveillance. Where are you going to use your money? Where are you making withdrawals? What are you doing with that? What are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? To see your spending habits is strange.
you spend your money. Like if you're in
Yeah.
the UK, or have you gone for a cheeky little getaway in Gibraltar or whatever.
Yeah.
So your whole life, especially today with online banking and digital banking, is literally going to be scrutinized. I personally do not agree with this. I think it's a massive invasion of people's privacy.
Yeah.
And I think too much information gathering, if it falls into the wrong hands, can be misused against you.
Yeah, it's
And
detrimental.
we all know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So let me know in the comments what you think about this, and yeah, let's discuss.
That's interesting. Great channel. I've never seen any video from her from the Justice Journals. I've never seen any videos. It's the first one, and I'll be checking out more. Seems like they've got some great information flowing through there. It will be pinned as usual in the description. And yeah, bloody hell, it's a little bit worrying, to tell you the truth. What, they're surveilling and all that? Fucking hell. Doge? Is this UK Doge? That's crazy, to be honest. I'm a bit worried. Like, because of the implications, on privacy and all of that. It's suspicious, mate. I'll tell you that for free. I ain't tell you that for free, my boy.